Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of the worst movie franchises of all time because I just watched every Halloween film for the very first time, so here's my ranking of them all from worst to best. In dead last place is Rob Zombie's Halloween reboot from 2007, which gives us an explanation about why Michael Myers became what he did, which nobody asked for in the first place. And this movie really feels like it was written by like an edgy 13-year-old because pretty much Michael Myers' origin story in this is that he grew up with hillbilly parents, that his father just says slurs all day long, and his mother was a stripper. It's like, all right, that's why he's going to become a mass serial killer now. We spend the first hour of the movie with kid Michael Myers like that, and then the last hour is literally just remaking the original Halloween film, but worse. In 12th place is the most recently released Halloween film, Halloween Ends. This movie attempts to give us a new spin on the Halloween formula. Instead of focusing solely on Michael Myers, we focus on this new kid, Corey, who's a babysitter and accidentally kills this kid, and one day it's like, oh no, he's now going to become the next Michael Myers. Besides the fact that this character absolutely sucks, isn't a terrible idea to kind of give us a new spin on the Halloween franchise. The problem is it's afraid to commit to this idea, and it just goes back to Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis at the end of the film anyways. At number 11, I have Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. Listen, I can forgive a bad movie if it's at least so bad that it's entertaining and you can have fun with it. Halloween 5 is just an incredibly boring and dull movie. The entire supporting cast is just incredibly uninteresting. I did not care about a single one of these characters. Michael Myers himself is portrayed so goofy in this movie. But the biggest sin that this movie commits is that it completely undoes and retcons the very cool twist ending of Halloween 4, and I really can't forgive them for doing that. It's so afraid to commit to anything cool in this franchise. And at number 10 is a movie that has the same exact problem. Now, I am going to spoil Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrections because I just got to talk about how terrible this retcon they have is, because at the end of H2O, the movie that comes before this one, Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, kills Michael Myers. It's the most like badass ending in the entire franchise almost. But then this movie, Halloween Resurrection, starts and it's like, oh no, that cool ending you just watched, that actually didn't happen. Michael Myers switched clothes with some innocent person. That's who Laurie Strode actually killed at the end of that movie, and now she's in like this mental institution because she just murdered this man and she's insane. To make matters even worse, the first 20 of this movie is like a bait and switch that you're going to be following the story of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode again, but then he kills Laurie Strode 20 minutes into the film and you completely abandon it and go to a new plot. So you might be wondering, with all the negativity I'm saying, how is this not in last place? Well, it's because when we do get to the new plot of this movie, which is about all these kids going into the Strode house and filming like this live stream in there that's being broadcast, I actually think Michael Myers walking around in this house killing these people off one by one, it is just incredibly goofy and at least entertainingly bad. So I did have fun with this part of the movie, but the first 20 minutes is just unforgivable. At number 9, I have Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. This is another one of the films that are just so incredibly dull and boring. It's more like a real estate drama than an actual horror movie. I did at least like that Paul Rudd is in this film, which I honestly had no idea he was ever in a Halloween movie. He's not particularly great in this movie, but that's like the only redeeming quality. It's just, again, very boring and dull. At number 8, I have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This movie actually goes in a very bold new direction because we completely abandon the story of Michael Myers. It's almost like a completely separate story, just set in the same universe. And I don't think it's a particularly terrible premise in this film. You got some interesting characters, a very funny doctor in this film and stuff, but ultimately it kind of just felt very dull and weird in a lot of ways that didn't ultimately work for me. I do admire it, again, abandoning the Michael Myers premise. I think that is something this franchise should have done more, but it just hasn't worked the two times they tried it with this and Halloween Ends. Number 6, I have Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which you might be surprised is up this high compared to how much I hate Rob Zombie's first Halloween film. I still don't think this is a very good movie, but I didn't absolutely despise it like I did his first film. I think everything with Michael Myers and his visions of his mother and this white horse, is it kind of goofy? Yes, but it's also kind of cool at the same time. The first 20 minutes of this film absolutely rips. It's incredibly brutal. The kills are crazy. Unfortunately, that's the best part of the movie, and it's a dream sequence. I also think the movie wastes a lot of time building up to Halloween night. We spent a lot of time on October 29th and 30th, and I'm like, okay, let's just get to Michael Myers again at this point. And you do see a lot of Loomis literally just trying to sell books in this movie, but it's fine enough. At number 6, I have Halloween Kills, the second film in the most recent Halloween trilogy. This movie has an incredibly goofy script. Like, some of the lines that the characters are saying in this movie, you almost have to laugh out loud at, even though they're being dead serious, because it's just so ridiculous. I do kind of like the entire, like, town versus Michael Myers thing that you have going on in this film, everybody rallying together. Plus, you get Michael Myers absolutely locking in at the end. Like, the very final scene of this movie goes incredibly hard. At number 5 is the first film in this franchise I'm prepared to say is actually a good movie. It's Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. This takes place 10 years after his original massacre, but this time he's coming back to hunt down his 7-year-old niece, and I am going to spoil this movie in case you're wondering, but I think it's a very cool premise of having Michael Myers actually hunting hunting down someone new besides Laurie Strode in this, and then at the very end of the movie, you get this very bizarre twist of the niece actually putting on a mask just like Michael does in the first Halloween movie, and she's the one that actually ends up killing someone in this film. It's like, oh my god, are we setting up for her to be the next Michael Myers in this franchise? Then, as I mentioned earlier in my Halloween 5 review, it's another one that completely just retcons this cool ending, undoes it, and none of this has any consequences, but it would have been such a cool direction for this franchise to take, kind of giving the Michael Myers crown onto a new person with his niece. And number 4, I have Halloween H2O, which takes place 20 years later in a new continuity for the Halloween franchise, one of like the 15 different timelines. This movie is incredibly dumb, but also a whole lot of fun. I really dig the entire campus vibe here. Everything with Laurie Strode I think is great. Her and her son's dynamic I enjoy. You also got young Josh Hartnett and Michelle Williams running around in this movie. And as I mentioned in my Halloween Resurrections review, this has an incredible ending with Laurie beheading Michael Myers. Unfortunately, it's undone by the next film, but if you just ignore that retcon, this is a very cool ending. And number 3, I have 2018's Halloween movie. Again, kind of a soft reboot taking place after the original Halloween film, like a new sequel trilogy here. I think it gets off to a great start here, even though the next 2 films are not as good. I don't absolutely love the first half of the film, where it's like these true crime podcasters trying to find out more about Michael Myers and they want to like interview him and stuff. I find that stuff really corny, but the second half of this movie just absolutely rips when you just let Jamie Lee Curtis do her thing. This franchise is best with her in it. So the kills are brutal. It's probably one of the better looking Halloween films visually overall, and it's just a good time. At number 2, I have Halloween 2 from 1981. I think this is an incredibly cool concept because it just takes place on the same Halloween night as the first film, but this time Michael Myers is now following Laurie Strode to the hospital. The whole aesthetic and vibe of this movie in this like hospital at nighttime on Halloween is absolutely perfect. You got some great kills in this movie, some really fun Dr. Loomis, who is my favorite character in this entire franchise. Really just a solid sequel in my opinion. Make sure to drop a like and follow and let me know your favorite Halloween movie in the comments below, but my number 1 is just the original Halloween. I'm sorry, you can't beat the classic. John Carpenter absolutely cooked with this film. The score is obviously incredible. The slow build up to Michael Myers fully being unleashed is perfect. Just a great horror movie.